So, hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are from the Circle of Legends and we are happy to announce a summit on learning tools. And as we know, the learning tools today are majorly e learning tools, webinars, and online training. But we forget about the conventional learning tool, that is wisdom, coaching, mentoring, and using the conventional tools. So here we are going to remind everyone about the importance of the conventional tools also, importance of mentors, importance of effective coaching, effective time management, self-discipline, and all that in our Learning Tool Summit, which we are going to arrange on 20th September 2020 at 20 hours IST. And 20 plus participants from 20 countries are going to take part. So all 20s are, at a one place, and let's enjoy it like a 2020 match, which we enjoy in India. So this is a background of our event, which we are planning. If you are from various part of the world, I invite you to write your comments in the comment section from where you are, which place and city where you are in, and you can give us your feedback, your inputs, your ideas, your suggestions, so that we can implement it and we can put it in our summit. So with this, I am signing off and handing over to Dolly. So Dolly, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. So, good morning, good evening, everyone. And today I welcome you all in this episode of Transformative Leader Podcast. And I'm honored to be speaking with Enrique, sir. He is the co-founder and CEO of Triad Leadership Solutions, and he has an experience of 26 years in the veteran of the U.S. Navy. So today it's all about we are talking where we are going to ponder upon the strategies for successful leadership using a principle-based approach. So I request sir to give a brief intro about himself to the audience. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Dolly. And as you mentioned, I have 26 years of experience in the U.S. Navy. I retired and made Orlando, Florida my home, and ventured into my own company, Triad Leadership Solutions, where we focus on getting struggling leaders to success. Now, I mainly work with first-time leaders or leaders that are already in position that are struggling but want to get out of that. And that's where I focus my attention nowadays. And I do a lot of mentoring on the side, both for veterans, students, and entrepreneurs.
So that's extremely powerful and great. I just can't express my happiness and the excitement that I have today. So today this topic is all about how to become a holistic leader. Why this topic? What's the importance of this topic that you chose this topic to speak about?
Yeah, this topic is important because most people that venture into going down the road of leadership don't wage the cost. They don't weigh the cost. And it costs someone to void yourself in order to be able to lead others. Leadership is not about you. Leadership is about the folks and the people that you are ushering into the next generation. And a lot of people, they see leadership as a position only, as a job title only, as a pay scale only. And leadership is much more than that. I often say leadership starts when the leader opens their eyes for the day and when the person they led lays their head down for the night. And if that gives you a span of what leadership is, it's more than you just showing up for a job position or a company. It actually affects the life of the people that you lead. So you can be a leader that goes to work from 9 to 5 and you say, okay, my job is done. But that person that you led, if you were a poor leader, will go home and at their dinner table will speak about your poor leadership. So your leadership did not stop. The effective leadership goes on way beyond what most leaders think it does. And so I try to bring a holistic view of a leader. And I always say the leader starts at the house.
Thank you so much, sir. It's amazing to have this advice, and I think it was really important to uh, pick this topic up and have a discussion over it, because people often, get confused over these two words between management and leadership, and they continue on. It's not a matter of time till today. The confusion gets along, and despite a huge volume being written on the topic during the past 2 decades, the two words are frequently used interchangeably, but
Right.
typically without adequate understanding. So, please explain that why there still exists a confusion and what's the difference between the two.
Well, the confusion comes from people not knowing what their position really is. Sometimes we hire a leader that's basically a manager. All they know is management. Maybe a position open. Maybe they are our colleagues for many years. Maybe they know someone that has influence over us. And so we put them in positions that they're not ready for. As long as we continue to hire people and put them in the wrong positions, those two words will always be mistaken. There's no clarity at the leadership level. And so there won't be any clarity at the worker level. And we perpetuate the misunderstanding.
Thank you so much, sir. It's been obvious that uh, it's high time that we recognize the importance of on becoming a holistic leader, and get on to this, making people realize that becoming a leader, it's just not equals to the position that you acquire in a organization, but rather it's always also important to know the basic and the utterly important components that comes with this word, this the word holistic leader. So, what, according to you, are the basic and the crucial principles, components of this, this level or this word, holistic
Mhm.
leader?
Right. The main components, and I'm going to break it. I'm going to break it down into body parts because it really is right. The very first position, the very first part of a holistic leader is their heart. If their heart does not have compassion, does not have empathy, does not have the ability to care for someone else, they are already detaching themselves from a holistic leader. The holistic leader begins at the heart. Then it moves to the mind. What you know, what you've had training in, what you've been experiencing throughout your life, the things that make us human, the failures and successes. Because at the leadership level, you have to share your expertise. And if you don't have that education and experience, you can also start to detach yourself from what a holistic leader is. After the heart and the mind comes the body, what we do, what we allow ourselves to partake in. The holistic leader understands that every action they take has a equal reaction. And so if I am a leader and I am participating in activities that don't promote holistic leader type of traits, I also detract myself from being a holistic leader. So your heart must be right, your mind must be right, and your body must act right. And that's what makes a holistic leader.
I completely agree on to this, and it's very important to develop these strategic principles, and with time to grow and develop, and also not for the oneself but also for the others, for the betterment of others. Uh, Sir, on your circuitous route to the esteemed position you hold today, and how you became interested in holistic leadership, how did you become interested in this subject, and how systems work around you when you get into the subject?
Well, I became interested in my subject the moment I was under my first poor leader. That's when I became interested in making sure that no one, no other Enrique, no other human would be under such leadership. Because, like I said earlier, the leadership impacts have more effect than just your office. The people that you impact go home. And then sometimes, because of your poor leadership, they go home and exhibit similar poor leadership in their home instead of you helping them out. So when I first had my first poor leader, and believe me, we never forget our first poor leader. uh, that's when I said, I have to do something. And for the next 26 years in the Navy, I developed myself to making sure that I was not that guy that I had in my memory, but that I left an impact and a memory for others to say, I want to be like him. The tools that I use while I'm doing what I do now with Triad Leadership is that I take everybody back to their first poor leader. And everybody in the room said, yes, I remember their name, what they looked like, where I was. And so I take them there because what I want them to develop is a different aspect to what they have in their mind. I also bring them to a point where we empathize with that poor leader and get you to understand that they had poor leadership and they were only replicating what they had learned. And so through forgiveness and a little empathy, we get you past your poor leader and make you a better leader.
So that's absolutely amazing, and I think I find that our talk is just an eye opening and extremely educational.
I'm glad.
There is some problem with her camera. Okay, Dolly, over to you, please.
If you can repeat it again, because I think you're on mute.
So, okay, Enrique, I think in the meantime, we can discuss, about our friendship.
Yeah.
So let's bring this, uh, this show as a friendship show now. So I think would like to know about your, vision about the Triad Consulting. How you have came up with the idea, how you, train the next, batch of leaders.
Yeah, the triad idea came from the military, actually. The military has a structure where they're the top three personnel at the command, which is the commanding officer, the executive officer, and the senior enlisted. I served in the senior enlisted role. They call it triad because it goes from the CEO to the XO to the senior enlisted. And that triangle pyramid, if you will, allows for effective communication throughout the company, throughout the command.
Mm-hmm.
And I, as a senior enlisted, would be responsible to carry out the CO, the commanding officer's mission through the workforce. And so we had a real good relationship, a daily working relationship, and we facilitated each other's strengths and shored up each other's weaknesses so that the command can flourish. So that relationship was so that the command personnel can flourish. It was
Mm-hmm.
never for us, right? So I carried that over into my corporate world and I named it Triad because
Mm-hmm.
I love the philosophy behind it.
Oh, that's great. But when I've seen your, logo or your symbol, I correlate it with the Hinduism. There is a god Shiva, and he carries
Hmm.
a weapon. It is exactly same as your symbol. So, is there any correlation?
Yeah, the scepter, or what, it's a Poseidon tool, right? It's a seaworthy type of tool. The trident and triad, 3 points, is the reason why I picked the scepter, because when you look at the correlation between sea service and the three position type of hierarchy or support system for the company, it just made sense that I would keep it nautical.
Okay, so that's great. Now, when it comes to use of social media, since I think we have started in parallel. So, where you were using social media while you were in Navy, was it permitted, or you have started using it recently?
Yeah, no, social media has been permitted by the military since its inception. It's how
Mm-hmm.
you use the tools that are available. So when you're in the military, you are a representative of that force. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to be careful
Mm-hmm.
not to misrepresent your service by your use of media, right? So, or social media.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the challenges that we face even in corporate America.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, do we have people in our company talking bad about us on social media?
Agree.
But let me give you a shortcut to getting all that out of the way. Don't be bad, and they won't talk bad.
Correct. Agree. 100% agree with you. So I think Dolly, she was facing some challenges, but in between, let's take some question. So I think Pallavi has a question. What kind of digital tools we can use to become a better
Yes, sir.
leaders at workplace? Uh, so what's your opinion?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's so many digital tools. As a matter of fact, this morning I had a session and we were talking about social media and digital tools. It depends on what you want to accomplish. There are time management tools. There are tools that keep your records all intact. There are tools that are made to collaborate and communicate. An example that I used to use was Slack. Now, I don't know if that's abroad and everywhere, but it's a communication tool that you can instantly basically text each other throughout the office and be able to facilitate communication. So there's not one tool that I would say works best. It's what you want to accomplish with the tool. Is it effective communication? Is it time management? Is it transparency? There are some tools that provide transparency. And if you ask me, I would like to see more of those, because a lot of the workforce don't know what's happening from the manager up. And these transparent type of tools allow people to feel more part of the decisions that are made at the company. So like I said, it depends on what you want to achieve with the tool.
We have a next question from Nikita. Okay, so there's some, what applications do you use to track productivity?
Yeah, no, like I said, there are so many tools to do that. One thing that I would want to caution is that in the world of IT, some companies favor some tools over the other, and you have to be careful when you are using different tools within the company, right? So some things are not allowed because of IT restrictions. So just be careful. If you like one, always consult your IT department whether this is something that you can bring in or use at your company. And all you have to do is, maybe submit a request or show them, and they can consider those things. But as far as productivity, any planner, if you look matter of fact, I am at my desk right now, and I'll show you. I use paper, pencil, a notebook, and so you can use that to a computer application that does the same thing. As a matter of fact, you can talk to your phone now and say, make an appointment for 2:00, and it'll make it. So, yeah, just use them wisely.
That's amazing. That's an amazing tip and guidance. Thank you, sir. Before leaving, sir, the question that was I was asking, how leaders can use this power of self-organization and self-emergence to foster collaboration without having to wait on the crisis to unite people.
Yeah. Not every leader is you would wish that every leader was a visionary, but not every leader is a visionary. Okay. And the reason why is because we hire people and to be leaders that shouldn't be leaders, right? So we want leaders to be able to think ahead, and that's really what we pay leaders for. Think ahead. Implement controls that will allow us not to get into those predicaments and those situations. When you have a leader that cannot do that, you will always be facing crisis, right? So, and this is something that I also spoke about not too long ago. Crises will always be there because it depends on what happens, right? Right now in the southern states of the United States, they've been dealing with a hurricane, a tropical storm. There's a lot of people that could not prepare for what happened there. They are facing a crisis, right? So what do? You have a plan of exit. You have a plan for your family. You have a plan to recover. If you didn't have that, knowing that you were going to live in a place where hurricanes come, shame on you. So the leader, remember I said the leader starts at home. That person at home should have had those things. Now let's go to corporate. If you're a leader in corporate and there may be crises that may come up because of the flavor of your arena. If you don't have plans already set in motion and you don't practice those plans, then what you are doing is you're setting up your company and your team for failure, because the crisis will come. It's how you navigate that crisis and get on the other side that makes you a leader.
So true, so true. I completely agree on this fact. And so, ending towards our session, what tip of advice you would give, to the people who work under unsupportive bosses and feel
Yeah.
that things may get better?
Yeah. I mentioned how I bring you to your first bad leader. Uh, the reason why I do that is because I need you to understand empathy. Empathy, we all want empathy when we need it, but we don't know empathy because we don't apply it. And so if you apply something, it's like a seed. I have a seed of empathy, and unless I bury it, I'm not going to get a tree of empathy and get the fruit of empathy. So you have to start by planting empathy in your relationship with that poor leader. And that's okay. They may not have it for you, but the only example they're ever going to see is you. So apply empathy to that poor leader. Also consider that they suffered what you are now suffering. That's why they're giving it. So teach them by your actions that there is a better way. Now there are some, because I will be honest, I one day I had a poor leader. One day I picked up all my belongings and I left. That for some people may be a surprise. The reason why is because I applied empathy. I tried to be the most humble I could be. And what they did was they stepped on it. No one should be under somebody that steps on you, right? Now, I'm not going to suggest that for everybody. I could do that. A lot of people cannot. So what you do is you set the example. Show them a better way. And also, there are ways to communicate to a higher authority. Look at what's available to you through human resources to do that. It is hard, but you have to be your best friend. And in those situations, be your best friend. And if it gets to the point, then use the tools that are available to you through your company and address the issue. Maybe get a mediator, maybe get someone from HR to facilitate an understanding. But I would say that'd be like the last resort. And then after that, you have a very tough situation to decide what you want to do. But they're out there by the thousands, if not millions. And I wish you all success in that regard.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. And I think it's absolutely true to this fact that these minute details need to be told to the people around everywhere, just to foster in their life. And I find our talk very eye-opening and extremely educational. And it's difficult to even put into words, the resonance that I feel with this passion and appreciation of leadership that you portray. So I very much look forward to collaborating with you in the future, and I would request Darshan sir to keep a special transformative leader podcast, because there's ample of knowledge and ample of tips that need. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, sir.
So yeah. So thanks a lot, Enrique. I think it's been a pleasure, and would like to welcome you again and again to share your insights with the Circle of Legends. And I'm sure the partnership between Triad and the Circle of Legends will grow with the time, and we will really make the world having the benefit of our partnership incrementally with each passing day. So thanks a lot again. Thanks, Dolly, for hosting this show, and we encourage the
Thank you
young
so much, sir.
host to come and be part of this show and take it to the next level. Thanks a lot once again.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Bye.